said you can read mine. Have you got something to say, Elaine?
Okay, Elaine's got something to say.
I always got that. Let's make some noise. Dale and Pete, I was asked more or less on the road. Okay. But I'm not much of a hand for a road. So I thought maybe we might have a history of the wedding and the reception. Okay. 50 years ago tomorrow, my older sister Dale married Pete Grafton. You know my older sister? Thanks, sister. They were married in Santa Ana at the preacher's home. Then they went to El Toro, where my parents lived, to a reception. I wasn't invited to the wedding. The only one who went beside Dale and Pete's parents was my spoiled little sister Renee. She probably kicked and threw a fit so that she'd get to go. I did. I lived at Olive then with my family, and so we went to El Toro, where my parents' home was, and we had the reception. And Grace, my sister, who isn't here today, helped with the food, and we got it ready, and my grandma Lois was there. And so we got the food ready for all of the Graftons and all the Thomases. On the way from the preacher's house to the reception, Pete got pulled over for speeding. He was probably going about 38 miles an hour because the speed limit was 35 miles an hour then. When the officer pulled him over, Ma Grafton said, in her southern accent, which I can't possibly tell you how she said it, but you people that knew Ma knows how it sounded. She said, "Please, officer, let the young man go. He's just got married." And the officer said, "Son, you deserve all the help we can. Be on your way." Our mom was a little upset. She was quite old-fashioned in her ways. And she was upset because Pete and Dale slipped away right after they cut the cake. And the cake was served, and they slipped away. Mom really gave them a bawling out the next day about it. They borrowed our brother Kern's Model A Ford Coupe for their honeymoon. I think their honeymoon probably lasted a couple of days. Like I told you when I started, I'm not much for speaking, but I want to wish all the happiness and health in the world. Thank you.
Why don't one of you two tell about the honeymoon?
Yeah, either day. Yeah,
but I can't remember.
I know a little bit about it here. The day they got married, I was just a little over 2 years old, and with my mother and sister and spoiled little brother Marion, down at Grandma and Grandpa's in El Toro. And Mom was fixing the dinner for the reception. Granny and Grandpa Judson and Uncle Jimmy were there. And picture this if you can. A small 2-lane road lined with an old eucalyptus trees, a house with a pyramid-type roof, a large screen porch. Behind it, a water tank, and a couple of houses beyond. And there were old folks sitting in the rocking chairs out in front, and kids playing in the trees, and I think that was Bob and Lois. And the good smells in the air, ham cooking. And let's see, Mom busy in the kitchen whipping potatoes, or as Grandpa Thomas used to say, spuds, and a round-faced ugly little boy, about a year old, my brother Marion, was crawling around under the table and chairs drooling. And me, I was 2 years old, good and kind, handsome and well-mannered little fellow, and asking my mother if she had olives for the dinner.
Well, look up then, Jack.
Olives, that's right.
Yeah. I always liked olives, and I was born in the town of Olives, by the way. And someone yelled, "Here they come." And Bob and Lois jumped or fell out of the tree, I think on their heads. And I was such a good kid, they had treated me so rotten, making faces to me all that afternoon. And if you can remember the movie Grapes of Wrath, that's just how I remembered it looked. All these old cars coming down the road with the mattresses on top of them and everything. And they were all square and black. They drove in the driveway and everybody came running out. Granny, Judson, Uncle Jimmy, Mom, and all of his kids. Someone was carrying my little brother, Marion, and he was still grinning and drooling. And I asked if anyone had brought some olives, and they all ignored me. Grandpa Thomas took his shotgun back into the house. Yeah, Grandpa Thomas took his shotgun back into the house. Yeah. He got a car. And I kept trying to get their attention. And Dale smiled at me when I stomped on her foot. Uncle Feet only patted me on top of my head. And they talked for a while. And soon we were all at a long table eating a wonderful dinner with lots of olives and stuff. I sit between my Aunt Renee and my sister Lois. Renee was younger than me. I don't know why I had to call her my aunt. And Lois kept, and Lois kept pinching me under the table. And I was trying to get more olives. I got back at her because I spilled my plate of gravy and potatoes in her lap as I got up on the chair to get the olives. But anyway, no sooner was dinner over, but Uncle Feet was pulling Aunt Dale by her arm out the front door to the old car with a mattress. With a mattress on top of it. It had all kinds of pots and pans on it, and it reminded me of Henry Fonda in The Great Giraffe. I don't know how far down the road they got before that mattress came off. Only you can guess. I heard later they stayed at Uncle Kern's and Aunt Edna's that first night. A lot of love has passed between that year and their 50th. I remember Uncle Feet and Aunt Dale were very tall people. When I was 2 years old, I also had to look up to them. And you know, I still do. They are and always will be my special people.
Right. Something I'd like to read that Renee wrote. Okay.
This is to Dee Dee and Feet. When I was just a little girl, and that I must repeat, I was just a very little girl when my sister married Feet. Dee married Feet, and I was there to the surprise of others, for not too many were invited, just the fathers and the mothers. And then Feet took Dee far away in his old motor car. I didn't know that she would stay in that place so very far. I cried and cried a bucket of tears like any spoiled brat you see, for it would be a couple of years before I'd see my Dee. Now if Feet knew what lay in store, he'd still be on the run. For when he married Sister Dee, he got two for the price of one. But mean to me he never was, and it was clear to see I'd always loved Feet just because he brought Dee Dee home to me.
Oh, good. This is what Lois is going to have Jim read it.
Yeah, the introvert. I haven't proofread it, so any mistakes in here are hers. For many years, I considered myself a sister in the Thomas family. Now this part isn't true here. I kept my grades up in school, and and was pure, so that I could spend as much time in El Toro as I could, or at Huntington Beach. It wasn't that I didn't like home, but Marion was always wanting me to teach Jack how to walk. Okay. How to walk, or to fill his bottle with home brew. In those days, there was no sex education in school. So Uncle Feet woke us in the middle of the night to watch a calf being born. He did the same for me, too. It was being made. Let's see, where was I? Oh. Once after Feet and Dale moved to Tudor, we visited and the calf was bloated. We decided to give it an enema. I love it. Oh God, it died. It died before we had the water ready. When Uncle Pete came in, we told him. He said, I guess this, SB won't do that again. As I said, for many years, I considered myself a sister. Then my mother was my age. Okay. My son became my age, and I woke up to the fact that these people must be pulling my leg because
Because you can't read her handwriting.
No, because I'm in Carol and Jim and Betty's. That's me. Carol and Jim and Betty's generation, very young. For all those beautiful times me and mine have spent with you, I thank you from the bottom of my heart. They were real fun times, and I love you both. God bless you both.
That was cute.
I think we're through roasting now. Are you through roasting?
I think they are.
I want to hear about the honeymoon.
You're supposed to tell us about the honeymoon.
Hey, Janet.
Well, do you want me to talk or Paul? Whichever, either one. It's your turn to talk. It's your turn to talk. Tell me what I want to know.
And Dale, and Dale, we want both sides of it.
No, do you?
Yes.
Yeah. Let him tell it first.
And we don't want it to sound like that Billy Martin story.
Okay.
John, what?
Don't want it to sound like that Billy Martin story. Ma don't remember too good no more.
Well, listen, Dad. I don't think we ought to tell them about the honeymoon because I think that some things ought to be secret.
I don't think that's it either.
But we certainly do appreciate all of this. And it comes from both of us, from the bottom of our heart, that one of the greatest blessings in these 50 years has been our family. Darn it, Janet, I told you I was going to cry. Anyway, we love you all. You all meant so much to us, and our friends, our dear, dear friends. Thank you all from the bottom of my heart for coming so far to share with us. God bless you.
We love you. Now we'll all cry.
Just a minute. I could tell about the shivaree, but I'm not going to.
Well, I'll tell you, folks, she was there.
Tammy, we want to hear. I don't think so. Some things should be sacred.
I don't see how that would be possible. You don't look like you're old enough to have been around 50 years ago.
Well, I wasn't, but I was a child.
She might have been a child, but folks, I'll tell you one thing, she planned it all.
Virginia, where was the chivalry at?
What?
Where did they have their chivalry at?
It was at Ma's house.
Was it Moss House?
Yeah, they were through honeymooning, I guess. No, they weren't through honeymoon either, as I remember.
I remember I went, but I've forgotten where it was.
No, it was at Ma's house.
Hey, Mom,
Huh?
shall I tell them about 49 years after your
No,
honeymoon?
no, you don't always tell the truth.
I'll tell my part, and then you can tell your part.
No. I told you some things should be sacred.
That's sacred?
Either of you guys want some coffee?
No, I like that.
He fell asleep again. He's got Charlie's nose. Shirley, I'm sure glad you finally had this little baby.
So am I.
We went to the hospital to see you and they said, oh, Shirley, well, she went home today. I said, well, what about a baby? Oh, no, no baby.
Yeah, doesn't leave without him, that's for sure.
So then you went back and then that was it.
Yep, I'm all done with that now. Thank God. Finally got my doctor visits over with.
Oh, you did?
I hate after you have them, you gotta go see him about every week.
And then you have to start with shots.
Yeah, he gets those in middle of February, so go back. Get those, so.
Then Cindy asked me if I'd take Mary to get her shot, you know. Oh, that was the worst thing I ever had to do because the doctor says, well, the grandma, it always hurts the grandmothers worse than the babies. Yeah.
That's true. It does.
Oh, the lamb's in the front yard.
No, well, it's
Open eyes. Ooh, open eyes. Ooh, my. Ooh. Ooh,
Grandma
stretching.
Mary go over there a lot?
Stretching.
Oh, yeah.
Stretching. Ooh.
She comes to see him usually once a day at least.
Hey. Good morning. Happy New Year's. He's got a hangover from last night.
That milk gets to him.
Yes.
How come you guys didn't come back to us?
Frank didn't get done until about 11:45. So we figured we didn't want to go over there that late.
Well, they were there all night.
I know, but I was half asleep.
Sarah and Danny didn't leave till 6:30.
In the morning?
Yeah.
You got ready to go quick find Carson. You got ready to go quick find Carson.
Oh, he's
So we had
a
to go over to
good-looking
Where's Carson?
kid,
She told us
believe
back in
me.
the house, we didn't see it in there.
Yeah.
We thought she had a car.
The little
My car started freaking out on the way over. I had to go about 30 miles an hour after the Twin City bridges.
What?
You go about 40 and it starts shaking. Something wheels, I guess. Started vibrating a lot and everything. Good morning. Comes out